Okay, everyone, good afternoon. Nice to see you all. Sylvia,
Yes,
could you do a roll call, please?
I can. Arib Muhaddin,
Here.
Sarah Porter will be absent today. Natalie Sanchez,
Here.
Chris Smith will be absent today. Charlene Bybee, Jessica Goycuchia,
I'm here.
Paige Samples,
I'm here.
Elizabeth Flores will be absent today. Mackenzie Winklemeyer,
Here.
Ashley Daftery,
Here.
Jorge Montano will be absent today, and Annie Zucker.
Here.
You have quorum.
Thank you so much. We'll now move on to item 1.03, which is the Pledge of Allegiance. So all please stand. Thank you. And now we're going to move on to item 2.01. This is approval for the minutes for the December 1st, 2025 meeting of the Safe and Healthy Schools Commission. I'm looking for a, and this is for possible action. Public comment.
Yep.
Is there any public comment on this particular item?
No public comment.
Great, thank you. Are there any motions for this item?
I'll motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Has to be somebody online.
Maybe somebody online?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Samples. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes. We're going to move up item 2.03. This is being presented by Dr. Lamarca, and also we've got some student voice. So this is for presentation and discussion only on current bathroom safety initiatives in the Washoe County School District with district high school students. Thank you all for being here today and taking the time. We appreciate you.
Chairman Sanchez, members of the committee, for the record, Paul Lamarca, Chief Student Services Officer. I'm actually going to invite Brad Rose up and perhaps Caprice Young, and they will introduce our amazing students for this item. Thank you.
Great, thank you guys.
Hello, I'm Caprice Young, Student Voice Facilitator,
Brad Rose, the other Student Voice Facilitator.
and we are here to introduce two of our students from our Student Advisory Council. We have Peyton from Reno High School, and then we have Milo from Wooster High School.
Hello.
Hi, thank you guys so much for coming. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
We've been really interested in this topic as a commission, so we can't wait to hear what you guys have to say.
Okay, great. Okay, so the concerns with the school bathrooms. In some cases, students gather in restrooms in groups to socialize or engage in inappropriate behavior rather than use the faculties. As a result, students may feel unsafe or uncomfortable and avoid the bathrooms. There's also a ton of students just skipping class altogether in the bathrooms. And there is a concern with some of the schools. They have taken down the mirrors, but I'll get to that in a second. So here is how the schools have encountered the bathroom issues. Some schools have addressed the bathroom-related issues by removing restroom doors to monitor student behavior. However, this response has led to students to feel unsafe, uncomfortable, and lacking a sense of privacy. A more common approach students have had used to address this issue is closing some or all the restroom doors during class time, an effort to prevent students from skipping class or engaging in inappropriate behavior. However, this practice can also create problems as students may be late to class due to having to walk across campus to find an open restroom. And lastly, many schools have removed some years from women's restrooms to reduce distractions, while student opinions and results have been mixed. Since some students value the ability to check their appearance, this change has slightly decreased the amount of students that spend in the bathroom.
And just to emphasize on the first point, specifically speaking from Worcester, some statistics from our climate survey, we have that we have 25% of students don't report that they don't feel safe in the bathrooms. And we also report that 25% of students don't feel safe in general at school. And so at least coming from Worcester, we can attribute the same 25% of maybe they don't feel safe in school because of the bathrooms, which kind of highlights the importance of the bathrooms in general. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. A solution we have came up with is a vape detector. Vape detectors that are capable of sensing nicotine or marijuana and can be used as a preventative measure rather than triggering an audible alarm. The system would notify school administrators and indicate the specific restroom involved. A setback of this idea is it can be very pricey for this technology and the cost of how many bathrooms would be using this item.
And again, it's important to highlight the difference of different types of campuses. So again, for at Worcester, we spoke to Deputy. He was here. Deputy Officer Diamond and Police Officer Baker. So they're both at Worcester High School, and we've talked a lot about how different camera placements might be effective solutions to discredit or unencourage that kind of activity in the bathrooms, and even having more personnel in the hallways. So because of having an open campus, like we have to have more people around. So that's just a difference between the solutions, you know.
That's all I had.
That's great, you guys. Thank you. This has really been a big, like I said, this is a big thing we've been really thinking about, and so we really value hearing from you all directly. Commissioners, are there any questions, comments, anything you'd like to say?
Can I just add? I'm sorry. just
Please.
One more thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I brought up statistics earlier, and we're barely getting new data from our most recent climate survey, but we've actually seen, because we spoke with Tammy Zimmerman, the facilities manager, and the school police, we've seen the percentages of students that feel unsafe actually go down, which is something good, but we have more data coming in, so it's not super clear yet, but it does look like it's on a downward trend. So that's just what Worcester's done to kind of bring solutions to that stuff.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
In addition to what our students have shared, as you all know, student voice is in all of our middle schools and high schools, and so Brad and myself have the opportunity to hear from lots of other students in addition to them and their peers. And other things that our students have shared have been like the spacing between the door and the wall, or like the barrier between the stalls, and them not feeling safe and secure when others are coming in the bathroom, being able to see them, along with the space between the floor and the barrier. Some students who may not be mature enough to handle independence in the bathroom like to come and see what their friends are doing, and so those are some other things that we've also heard as well. Is there anything you want to add, Brad?
Yeah, no, just to echo what Caprice just said, and our students, I mean, a lot of the concerns are also our preventative measures, our locking of the doors, our preventing access. A lot of students have brought up those concerns at various student advisory councils at various schools. And I know that's kind of our go-to, I think, to try and prevent these things just because of the lack of supervision. But I do think some of the solutions presented are worth looking at. I think our students have made some moves in this. Just to kind of give you guys some background, a lot of our students' advisory councils last year decided to beautify school beautification inside of their bathroom, in the hopes that maybe if it's a cleaner facility, vandalism, behavior that's not really appropriate for school would not take place in there. So just to give you some background from our other students that we've heard throughout the beginning of our student advisory council meetings this year.
Wonderful. Thank you, guys. And just for the record, I just want to note that Commissioner Bybee was able to join us. Well, thanks for being here. Commissioners, do you have any comments, questions? Seeing none online. Okay, well, again, thank you guys. We really take to heart everything you guys have to say, and so we appreciate the time and the effort that went into this presentation. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. We will move to item 2.02. This is for presentation and discussion only. This is on ways to celebrate School Counselor Week in the Washoe County School District. And we've got Dr. Lamarca.
Thank you again. For the record, Paul Lamarca, Chief Student Services Officer. We're excited to bring you this item. It's National School Counselors Week across the nation. That's sponsored by the American School Counselors Association. Their theme for this year is how counselors amplify student learning. And we have some amazing counselors here, and I'm going to name them and ask them to come up. We have a little applause certificate for them.
Yay.
I think they do much more than amplify student learning. They're central to student learning. They're critical to student learning, both social emotional learning as well as academic learning. Our counselors are critical when it comes to social emotional learning. They are key members of our school safety teams. There are other professionals that make up those teams as well, but our counselors often lead that work. They are our go-to people when it comes to things like suicide prevention. They are right in the middle of all of our MTSS work and our social emotional learning work at the core level as well as interventions. They are so critical to those processes. I can't say enough. They do all sorts of academic planning and career planning with our students. They are in the middle of crisis response. The list of things that our counselors, they're quasi-administrators in all of our buildings. That's lessened a little bit with the addition of deans at all of our elementary schools. But I think it's sort of assumed that our counselors are part of our administrative teams within buildings, and that should speak to just how important they are. So we have over 200 counselors in the school district. We have at least one in every building. Our elementaries often just have one. We usually have more than one in all of our middle schools, and we have multiple counselors in our high schools. So there are a few that are here, some who I've known for a long time, others I haven't known as long. Erin Danielson is from Worcester High School.
Yay!
Elizabeth Hester is from Dilworth Middle School.
Yay!
Claire Vernon is from Tolles Elementary School. And also we have Michelle Lewis, who is our high school specialist.
Hi.
And of course, Keely Killian, who's our new director of counseling. So we have this little applause for them, but I was hoping that you might ask them a question or they might say a word.
Yes. I would love for you guys to just be acknowledged for all the good work that you do. I know in the mental health community, we rely so heavily on your input and your expertise. So I'd love to hear from each of you just a little bit about what it means to be a school counselor, what you feel is helpful, hopeful.
I guess I'm first in line.
It's like at school, don't make eye contact, you know?
What does it mean? I didn't have a lot of time to think. Being a school counselor is so important on so many levels. And when I say that, it's because we serve the whole school community, not just the students. And I think that that's something that's often overlooked or people may not know about, but we are an intricate part in the school system, and we do so many things, just like Paul said. So it is, it's an honor to be a school counselor. I think I have the best job in the building.
Aw.
I really do. So if you have any specific questions, please, but that's it.
It's perfect. Yeah, no, we appreciate you and your dedication. Does anyone have a question? Yeah, Commissioner Bybee.
So I'm curious, and some of you are at all different levels, grade levels, and your issues are different, but what do you see with all of us looking in our community and our city-state country, the mental health crisis is real, and it crosses all age, all demographics. in the schools, what would you identify maybe as your biggest challenges and maybe the most common mental health challenges that you are facing with our students, and kind of, obviously your job is to try to remedy that, but what would be your biggest challenges or things you're seeing that we can look at how those can be addressed, which I know you are every day, other organizations, other professionals, kind of where, I guess, for me, in my city, what are the things that are the most critical needs for mental health with our students today?
I think it goes back to looking at everything as a system. The children are a system of a family, of our community, and it's often hard to find mental health resources for those students that need them, as well as the families. So I would say it's been very challenging to connect them with community resources. When they're at school, I feel like everyone in the school is there to help kids. So we're able to really help them in whatever ways we can, but there are gaps in finding mental health resources within our community. But students have a hard time if things are going on at home, and we can't control that. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Would anyone else like to follow up at your level?
Thanks for articulating that so eloquently, just showing us all the things that school counselors do. We appreciate you guys.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hi.
I think you guys can all say as well, as school counselors, this is like awkward because we are humble people. We don't always like to be recognized for what we do. For me, being a school counselor, it is my purpose. I feel like I am an advocate to my students, but I'm also a mom for some students who don't have that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, like Claire said, it's the best job. To kind of go on what Claire said about the biggest challenge for me also is getting the parents to follow through with the referrals that we make for mental health services. So, we identify that there's a need. And we have the Great Care Solace that you guys put in place through the district, and that's a big help. But then when you actually look to see how many parents utilize that service, there's no follow through. So that's the biggest challenge for me. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you.
Boy.
I put you guys all on the spot today. Just tell me your life's passion and mission.
All right. How much time? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So my name's Erin Danielson, and I've been a counselor at Worcester High School for 18 years. I've always run the IB program there, worked with our IB students 9 through 12, and we lost a counseling allocation this last year. And actually I worked with Andrea at Worcester. It's so nice to see some friendly faces. So this year I took on 9th graders as well. So that's on top of my other caseload. I also run our student advisory board, which I wouldn't say I really run it. Really, Milo runs it, let's be honest. Counselors are doing committees. They're helping with projects like student advisory board, which is one of my favorite things. And freshmen, wow, they take me back, right? They need a lot of love and attention, but they're eager to learn. And I decided this year that I was going to meet with them last semester 12 times. So we did some guidance every day, So I was a teacher, and I got to learn what that job is like, and that's really hard. And so all my students know me by name and face now. And they're all expected to have certain things on them whenever I walk around. And they get extra credit points for it. So, I don't know, I'm just trying to have fun with it because, I get to stay with them now until they're seniors, regardless if we get another counselor. But I love what I get to do. I love that I get to wake up. I get to, the day is never the same as the day before or what you thought it was going to be. And that's fun. Flexibility is fun. And the students take to it really well. So I just love that I get to do that. And I get to create what I get to teach them, which is fun. And they get to know me and my weird, quirky personality. So that's a lot of fun. You're nodding. That's okay. The other thing, let's see, mental health. I would say that if counselors had smaller caseloads, we would be able to get to more of our students' one-on-one needs. Our caseloads at elementary school are ridiculously high. Middle school, slightly above that, or below that, I guess, yeah. And then high school, we're still at 400 to 1. So I don't know if you've ever tried to meet with 400 students at least once in a year, right? On top of all the other things you have to do, but it does take a toll on them, especially when they need you and they can't come and get you when they need you and they don't know how to ask for help right away. And so we're always trying to find creative solutions. Is it an emergency? Do you need me right this second? Do I see the tears coming? Kind of a thing. Because we're always running in a million different places too. Yes, to echo, we've got wonderful resources in our city, but not enough. Not enough that our parents can access. Not enough for the languages that they speak. We have 30 different languages on our campus, and nothing is ever printed for our parents in anything other than English and maybe Spanish. So it's important that we're getting them the resources they need in the languages that they need, and not shaming them for needing an interpretation device. I use it all the time, so I think that's fantastic. And if anybody knows of one in Dari, that would be great. There isn't one. So I guess just, yeah, if that helps, more one-on-one attention for our students would be wonderful. Because when we have a caseload of 220, yeah, we can meet with them 3 or 4 times individually. But 400 makes it really hard.
Yeah.
So thank
Absolutely.
you for this,
Yeah.
Paul, my buddy. I had his child on my caseload.
Yeah,
very
oh,
exciting.
wonderful. Well, yeah. I just want to say to all of you, thank you for being truly the embodiment of that one trusted adult. You guys are the face, I think, oftentimes for that. And so you get the good, the bad, all of that stuff in between. And we just really appreciate all of you. And if there's things that we can do for you all as a commission or ideas or things you'd like to see us do, please do not hesitate to reach out, because we really want to be responsive and respectful to everything you guys do for us. So thank you so much. Keely.
Just quickly, they are very humble. They are the leads of the leads. And so they lead their schools, they lead their vertical groups, and they're extremely knowledgeable. They're at the table with many district initiatives, departments, and of course with our community agencies and organizations. And so I know that we could not do this work without our district support and your support, and also our community organizations. But we asked them to come today because they are the leaders and representing each of the levels of their groups. And so we're so honored that we could be here today. Thank you. And Michelle, my colleague and co-conspirator, is hiding over there, but she leads our high school group too. So thank you so much. We're honored to be here, and we appreciate the time.
Thank you guys for taking the time to be here. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to item 2.04. This is for presentation and discussion only. This is presentation and discussion of substance use prevention strategies, including an update on substance abuse prevention courses and implementation of screening, behavioral intervention, and referral to treatment in the school district. And we will be seeing Keely again. Thanks for coming. Yeah, that's whatever's easiest for you. We're just happy to have you.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm back.
Yay.
So real quickly, Paul asked me to just give a little bit of an update on our substance abuse program. And that program is offered once a week. It's based on referrals from schools, so maybe students who've had a violation, a substance abuse violation. And what it requires is attendance by the student and the parent for a 3-part series. So we're asking them to come to 3 different classes, mostly week after week, so it can be consecutive. And I think when they are there and when they complete the 3 courses, and the courses are, communication skills, pharmacology, refusal skills, things that you would see in a prevention program, that we do see good outcomes. So a little bit of data from last semester, we had 42 students referred, and these are schools are making these referrals to the program, mostly secondary schools. Of the 42, we had 19 students complete all 3 classes with their parents. And so that was almost 50% completion rate. We did have many students complete 2 out of the 3 courses, and then some that were not able to complete. And there's a lot of wonderful aspects about this, showing up in person with your parent and taking time out of your evening to come. And so we appreciate it when parents can do that, but it's also a barrier. You can understand why. Parents are busy, they might be working, they may not have transportation. We don't offer this course in another language, although we do try to accommodate Spanish-speaking families the best that we can. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about another program that we're trying to get off the ground. But we do see, fairly good outcomes when they can come all 3 times. And, for other schools and students and families who can't make the program, we're looking at offering some other options with our schools. Do you have any questions about SAP, substance abuse program?
Any questions from online? Okay, I don't see any. And I see none.
Okay.
Go ahead, Keely.
Okay, so some of you might be familiar with something called SBIRT, and SBIRT is Screening, Brief Intervention, and Referral to Treatment. And we were really fortunate to have a donation to the counseling department from Rotary that is going to help us provide some training for secondary schools around SBIRT. And the program that we're looking at is called Teen Intervene. And Teen Intervene is designed as a comprehensive screening, brief intervention, and referral to treatment model. So it's an SBIRT model. And then it's really for teenagers who've experienced mild to moderate problems associated with alcohol and drug use. They work one-on-one with one of our licensed counselors or social workers. And then ultimately, we're trying to get them to change their choices and behaviors. So the research from Teen Intervene is identifying the reasons they've chosen to use alcohol and other drugs, examine the effects of substance abuse in their lives, and then teaching them how to make healthier choices. So in March, we will be training schools voluntarily, most likely school mental health professionals, so our school counselors, school social workers, or school mental health clinical staff, whoever can do the 2-day training to learn how to implement Teen Intervene into their school setting. So we're trying to have one person at each secondary site trained, and that will hopefully eliminate some barriers for maybe families or students who can't go to our other option for SAP. And some of our schools are already using some other types of prevention activities for substance abuse or prevention, but it's really challenging because there's a lot of mandates, their caseloads are high, and they're trying to do the best they can with how many kids need support. And so when we can't necessarily provide the intervention, we obviously make referrals out for families. We work with them on the best ways to do that to try to meet their needs with our community partners. And so rolling into next year, hopefully we will have as many staff as we can trained with this program, and it's brief, and it also has a parent component to it, which is really nice. So we're working on that. It's expensive. As you probably know, this is one of our highest priorities is prevention for substance abuse, but it is probably one of the least funded programs as well. But we are working hard to use our money as best we can. So any questions?
Commissioner Bybee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So on the Teen Intervene, is that a nationwide program?
Yes.
That's been going on for a while, and I was curious if it is, what kind of data you're looking at, like what kind of success rate, especially if it's something expensive, it's worth investing in, but are you seeing, do you have the data collected that's really showing some measurable change? And what other schools and school districts, how they've implemented it, how they found either grants or other, there's certain foundations and things that are really focused in areas of mental health and substance abuse. So kind of what does that look like, and what are we looking at, hoping for a success rate compared to other school districts?
So this program is out of the Betty Ford Hazelton kind of program. And I don't have their research in front of me, but they have very strong research for prevention. And what we're trying to do is earlier intervention, right? So we want to prevent students from abusing substances or misusing substances, and also providing them the supports they need at school and then into the community and their families. So often things happen very quickly and they're not connected with services right away. So this is more of an early identification program to help students. And also, if we have staff trained, they're not waiting to get in to, maybe a resource where they might have to wait weeks and weeks. We can do an assessment, and if we can't provide the services at school with that assessment, we will refer out. But if we can, then we can work with kids, because it's a very easy, quick model to implement with many, many students. So the research that they have is very good. We haven't implemented it yet. And I'm not sure of other districts in Nevada. I know if I reached out to them that they would be able to provide us research or be able to connect with other districts that we can speak to. But in Nevada, I'm not sure. I don't know if Clark County is using it. They might be. So.
Yeah, and I know I don't expect you, I just threw that at you.
Yeah, no, it's a
so
great
you don't have
question.
it, but I was just curious about success rate. A lot of times when we're looking at other programs we want to replicate, you're looking at things that, wow, look at the difference this made. Look at whatever you're doing, and you see a proven model that's already working. That also helps when you're trying to get the money for it, that you're like, look at, these are the numbers, this is the data that shows this is an investment that's really worthwhile. And I really appreciate that it's early intervention, trying to be more preventative. The other end of it is so much harder.
Yeah, and it will be available on campus. We don't have that right now with all of our campuses. So we have to wait or refer out or hope, like Elizabeth said, that the families will connect with the service. So this will be available right on campus. We'll work with families. It'll be accessible. And my guess is we will have be able to serve more kids than we can probably help. I mean, it's going to be quite a few referrals, I think. So we're excited about it. And I will come back and let you know. Okay, yeah. Any other questions?
Anything else? No, Keely, we are very excited about this. This is a long time coming, and what a great alternative to catch all the kids that can't make the original program. So
yeah, happy for input or collaboration from anybody on the commission anytime. So
great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keely.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Okay, moving right along to item 2.05, presentation, discussion, and possible action for the development of a short video for students and families on safety-related district policies and consideration of other safety topics for possible video production. We have Dr. Lamarca back to lead us through our discussion.
Thank you, Chairman Sanchez. For the record, Paul Lamarca, Chief Student Services Officer. I know Sylvia sent to the commission a very brief write-up that really frames the conversation. Just for some background, last school year at the beginning of the year, the commission, in lieu of a safety forum, which we'd done annually, decided to produce or work with communications to produce some short videos. And you've produced 4 of them that I can recall. There's one that's essentially on pedestrian safety or safe routes. There's one dealing with mental health and suicide prevention, one on substance use prevention, and then most recently, the last meeting, you guys finalized the one with gun safety. And of course, Andy, I don't know if she's here, but she's been instrumental in developing these for us. So at the beginning of this year, I think you decided to continue down this path as opposed to the annual safety forum. And a concept was shared at the September meeting, and there was a brief discussion in December, or the last time we met. I'm not sure if that was December or November. I think it was December. Of this concept of getting to families key policies, things to know about the school district. And that is a humongous topic, and also not super flashy. And so I was struggling with it. And so what this does is this frames out some information that may or may not be sort of in alignment with what folks had in mind. I do believe Commissioner Porter was one of the strong voices, and unfortunately she's not here today. So essentially what this document does is there's some initial just description of the district and its size, and that may or may not be relevant. I find it to be actually pretty relevant because it is really complicated, and that's sort of the next little section. Is some of my fondest memories, maybe my fondest memories outside of my home and my parents, are at school. I can tell you all my elementary teachers, some of the middle, some of the high school. I can tell you about so many different events, and so when I walked into being an educator, I thought I know what it's all about, and I had no clue. And that's when I went to the State Department of Education, and boy, I thought once I left there after 9 years, I knew what it was all about. And I got to a district, especially one of our size, it is amazingly complicated and complex. And so I think that oftentimes folks do have assumptions about what public education is all about based on their own experiences. And that's true. Those are their experiences, and that does include some of what it's all about, but there's so much more behind the scenes that they're unaware of. So I tried to just put in information about the complexity, which leads us to why you need governance and why you need policy. So then the next section is on policy. And I remember, I believe the commission talked about what are the 10 most important policies, something of that nature. I think with policies, regulations alone, we have about 150. And then if you talk about some of the guidance documents, you're talking about another 50, 75 really critically important, policies and rules and things that we have to adhere to. Not all are related to safety. So in trying to develop this short list, I used ones that were closer to really the purview of the commission. Okay. This is not an exhaustive list. It's not a complete list. It was ideas of some of the key policies that you might want to point to if we were to do something of this nature. Then, and part of why that's important, I think this is where the commission was going, is most of the questions folks have are probably answered in these policies. Or it's information relative to their questions that might lead to other questions, but it helps them be more informed in the conversations that they might have with their teacher or with their principal or with the district superintendent, for example. The next section is really about your voice mattering, meaning our parents and our guardians and our families and our community voice is really critical to the success of the school district. We know that, you know that. And so we point at some things. So we have a whole department that's dedicated to engaging families. We have multiple departments that are really dedicated or in part dedicated to engaging with community. We have a strategic plan that one of its primary pillars is to strengthen and expand family and school partnerships. So I think that's important for families to know. We want their voices. We value their voices. The Safe and Healthy Schools Commission is a commission of volunteers. We have a whole bunch of these district committees that provide recommendations to the Board of Trustees. So that is an important way in which community members, family members could get involved, use their voice to advance education for kids. Losing my place here. There are so many other ways to volunteer within the school district, and we want to make that more, sort of demystify that process. It can take some time to get cleared. Oftentimes people want to help, but they don't know what to do. And we have a bank of like 11 or 12,000 active volunteers. So there's lots that can be done. And the district really needs to probably do a better job at sort of harnessing that volunteerism at the school level. But that's on the district, that's not on the parents. And then finally, unfortunately, we care about our kids. Ms. Danielson was talking about my kid. There's conflict at times. And so we do have a whole bunch of things in place to help to try and resolve conflict, and we point at those. So that's what this document is. I'm sure people, when you got it, you're like, what in the heck is this, and why are we talking about this? I didn't know how else to frame the potential issues. So I think Andy would have her work cut out to make this like a super, wow, I want to watch that video. But this is based on your guys' conversation. I wanted to get it in front of you. This, you could ask us to do something with this. You could say, let's put that away, and here are a couple more ideas. I do have one little idea that I want to pitch at you, but it's sort of tangentially related, so we'll ask Andrea to look away for a minute when I ask you that question.
Andrew's like, nope. Okay, well, thank you. I actually really like the way, personally, that it's framed. I think it provides background to me, and context is really important and matters. And I appreciate you taking all of our excitement about trying to figure out where to find a way to describe some of the district policies. If I remember right from Commissioner Porter, her idea was in particular around what was it, the school like fire days, like what happens when there's a fire, and then classes are canceled, and not understanding those things, and just kind of another list of other topics that she as a parent was coming across, like, I actually don't know where to find the policy on that. So I'm not sure, Andy, if you want to come on up, and I mean, to put you on the spot, if you have any ideas about how you might frame something like this, like, I have this random question as a parent. Where do I start? Like, I don't know how you'd make a video on something with this much breadth and depth.
I think one of our biggest challenges that we would have to consider is that they are evolving. We have, new policies, and so to make something that would be evergreen would be almost impossible. However, we do want to be able to direct people to our links, our website, where we do update stuff all the time. So I don't know how to marry sending someone to links on a video, but when you mentioned questions, and our most commonly asked questions that our parents are facing and our families are facing, that would be where I think I would start, is to try to tackle those. So I don't know if we have that information already, or small surveys would have to go out, but if we could tackle like the top questions and then create videos answering those and pointing people to the right direction, I think we could do that.
That sounds good. And I can't remember if I think some of the thought behind some of the commissioners' comments too was just even walking somebody through, whether it's an existing link or a current link or an old link, like how you would actually, point by point find something if you didn't know how to research, if you just had a general question that maybe didn't hit the frequently asked questions.
Right now, we do have, for an example, and I think it is posted, we have a video that we created, and it is being updated, that shows you how to enroll, how to get on Infinite Campus, and it is step by step. Click here, and you're going to want to do this if you're new to Washoe County or new to the district. So those can be done step by step, videos. Again, like I said, some of them timeliness, you know, would change and adapt, maybe they would be okay for a couple years.
Right, right. Thoughts, commissioners?
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a big project to tackle, but I also think it's one of the biggest misinformations out there is, you know, this assumptions of what the district is doing, and to be able to have a quick answer of there's a reason for why these decisions are made, or this is how a decision is made, or, you know, those kind of things. I like the idea of having regularly, like, surveying families, what questions do you have, so that we can then find those answers and then bring those back to the table. That would also be a lot of work too from your department, but maybe just saying as a Safe and Healthy Schools Commission initiative around safe and healthy schools questions, what particular questions do you have and what are some top questions? So whether it be about smoke days, fire days, closed campuses, all of these things that parents might have those questions about, maybe surveying what are those questions that come up, and then be able to put those out there in bite-size, not even full production videos, but just bite-size information. Did you know? Would be, or when those kind of things are, if they're timely, so that we know smoke days are coming up, that we can get ahead with, did you know that this is how we make those decisions? With snow coming, these are how snow days are decided. Just kind of putting it out there ahead of time, knowing that the questions are going to come on the backside.
Yeah, the did you know is fantastic. And in topical, and we do that now, by the way, and we utilize social media for a lot of this, like when we have winter weather, and we do have videos on that too, you know, about when winter weather stops. And we do use social media as a platform to remind people storms coming in and this is going on. So we utilize a lot of platforms now. Something to keep in mind with videos, especially our counselors were talking about the 30 languages that we have. With the videos, you have seen that we've produced them in English and then revoiced them in Spanish. It will be limited to maybe those two languages when we have the written word, as we do on our website, and we have almost everything that you guys have mentioned does exist on our website. It just may be not where people find it, or maybe the read is heavy. Maybe it's a lot to read. With the Weglet that we have a translation sort of widget that helps with those 30 languages that helps our families who speak other languages. If we create a video, really it will be two. So that's just something to keep in mind as far as the limited language that we could create.
And something else on, to your point, I think is really important, and maybe something that we could work on, is developing strong partnerships with our community partners about certain things that we are trying to message out to the community, because not everybody does go to the district website, or not everybody does open up the emails that are coming from the district, but they might open them if they're coming from the Boys and Girls Club or their churches, or all these places where kids are still active in the community, and there might be a different level of trust with the families, and really developing like a communications team around safe and healthy school topics that touch our peripheral partners in the community, and they're actually being more of the messengers out. Because I think that that's also, I am the first to admit it, that I don't open a lot of the things that come from the school district, because I maybe don't think that they have to do with my child in particular, or my children. But if it was coming from another social group that we interact with and engage with, it might be something. So I think that instead of working harder, we work smarter in that sense. If we're doing all of these things and we're putting all this content out and we are creating all this messaging, how do we then get it out to the community? I think is the most important at this point.
I mean, looking to partner to our partners and to leverage that is fantastic, because they're messaging, we're messaging, and on social media that is something that's easy to do, sort of tagging and joining in those ways would, just elevate the messages.
Commissioner Bivey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I love some of your ideas and and I like that. Did you know? I'm sitting here wrestling with, this is a ton of information, and I have served on this commission, since it started 12 years ago, and capital funding, I mean, I know a lot about all these, as well as being a very involved mom when my kids were in school. So I'm reading through a lot of, and I probably know a lot of this, but I'm thinking as a PTA mom or just a parent in general, sometimes these questions don't come up until you have a conflict, or you have something you're mad about, or you have something that that you're confused about. But yet I think a lot of the information, to your point, Dr. LaMarca, is really how do we share some basic information so that our parents and families and community can become more well-informed of the school district and the pieces of it. I know that, and I love the social media, and what we're doing in the city of Sparks. Our communication director, Julie Dool, is amazing. And she started a Monday Minute. And literally in 1 minute, and she and her assistant, I can't talk that fast, so I couldn't do the Monday Minute ever. But they talk really fast, and in 1 minute, they give all the things. Did you know Prater Way is going to be closed 24/7 so that they can get the road work done faster? And then things coming up, registering for preschool, for whatever it is, several items every Monday, and it gives links. So it gives you a link to, and it doesn't have to be a minute, but really quick little social media posts that then you're like, well, yeah, I don't know about this, or I want to know about this. And then you click and can find out the additional information. And plus people's attention, and I'm sure all our counselors will agree with this, is pretty minute. Focus, and I'm left-handed, right-brained, so I'm all over. But generally speaking, people's attention span and ability to even sit down and read something is pretty limited, and you get just overwhelmed. And students do, and families do, and I'm I am not reading this whole, I've got 100 things to read, or I just don't have the time. So really those little pieces and connecting to the bigger story that we could provide that information might be an idea and a way to do it.
Thank you, Commissioner Vivey. Any thoughts from the commissioners online? No, okay. So one of the things that I think is exciting potentially about this is that there is an opportunity to talk through some of these smaller things, and it makes me think of Andy's did you know, and also this idea of, I don't know, as a therapist, I go with a feeling word, so worried ? Here's how we look into more safety, or a safety topic, and it just is a walkthrough of that, because I'm kind of hearing two different things, how do you access material as a parent, as somebody who's interested, and then how do you partner with community partners? So I'm hearing kind of two different tracks. Does that sound a little bit like what you're saying, Commissioner Zucker?
Or I think it could all lead back to how do you look at the bigger picture and find the bigger information, but in these bite-sized community partner pieces, I think we've already created so much, and we've already created so much content. How do we get that to be dispersed out to the community by our partners with want to know more information? Here's where you find all of this information. Decisions aren't being made in silos in the school district. That's 100% for certain. I mean, these are all public meetings. They're all public. Everything is made publicly. And so to be able to, you can go find anything that you want to be able to find, but here's how.
Dr. LaMarca?
So I think what I'm hearing is, to try to put it back to the agenda item and a possible action item, maybe the action you want is to not produce additional videos, but figure out how to strategically disseminate the information that we've already put together. And then that would give Andy and I some ideas of how to move forward for sure. That's just a thought.
Does anyone on the commission have any interest in making a motion? Prior to making the motion, we will be asking for public comment on this, but Do we feel like we're at a spot where there could be a motion made, or do we need to table it for another meeting? We can do either one. Oh, yeah, go ahead. I can't see who. Oh, go ahead, Mackenzie.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Hopefully you can. I had a question about if we're trying to not kind of repeat ourselves. When you go to the Washoe County School District website and say there's a snow delay and it comes across as maybe it's a widget or like an alert that happens right there, and it'll tell you everybody's running on a 2-hour delay. Is there anything that exists in that system already that somebody could click into it and it would explain how that decision came about? Or because if we have already had these systems in place, but people maybe can't find them, my assumption would be that if you had a question, the first place you might go is the website. So can we kind of double dip with the stuff that we've already done, but attach it to the website in some way? Maybe that's already existing.
I think that's a really neat idea. I like that. Yeah, Andy.
I will say right now on the current website, and we have a relatively new website, we have what is a yellow banner that comes across the home page. And that one, you can click into it. Right now, the banner will say 2-hour delay, what you need to know immediately. And you click down, more information pops up. I can talk to our IT group and our webmaster to see if yet a further link to explain more about what this means can be done. I feel like it can because it is on the website. We do have these explainer pages. But yeah, in that moment when you're trying to figure out what does that mean, what does a winter bus stop mean, we have pages that say that. So to be able to direct them, I think should be, seems like something we could probably do already because like I said, it drops down with more information now.
So a possible action item would be that as a commission, we would recommend that you all look into what exists already and how might we improve it, and have those explanatory possibilities and explore what it would be like to engage more with the community. Dr. LaMarca?
So I'm going to say this, but it's kind of a question. The WhatsApp question, is that available to the public as well as staff at this point? You know, when you get into the website and you get the little icon? The
new AI guy?
Yeah, the chat.
Yeah.
So we do have at the website, there's a new AI generated sort of question answer platform that I mean, it's different than what Mackenzie was asking, but right now you could go to that chat and say, how does district make decisions about snow day? And if it can find out how we're doing that, it might be a good way for us to identify some of these gaps, but that's just for your information. There is that kind of an interface.
Vice Chair? Oh, you're
No, I was that we could go down so many rabbit holes on this whole topic, but I think just more. It's hard because nobody wants more information, but they want more information, right? So how do we walk that line? Last week, my kid's school had a code, whatever, and they're not codes, right? But you want to know, well, what is the process for this? Well, that's not explained in the email or the message that went out, and nor would I want that, but then I want to know that. So it's hard because we want less information, but we want more information. So,
yeah, that is, I think, the humanity of all of it. And I just want to remind commissioners, if we are going to make any sort of motion today, we do want to tie that into the videos, as it is what's on our agenda and has been agendized. So we do want to find a way to acknowledge that. Thank you, Andy. And if there is no movement that we want to make on this today, if folks want to think about it a little bit more, we can also do that. I will need a motion for that as well.
can we make a preliminary movement?
Yeah,
Okay.
at this time.
Okay, at this time, can I make?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do we need questions first, or was that, or comment?
Is there any public comment on this item?
No public comment.
Thanks, Sylvia.
I would like to make a motion that we at least explore engaging the community with the content that has already been created. We've invested a lot of time and energy into this, and working on creating those partnerships working on creating those, educating our community partners that this content exists is something that I would like to propose.
And I would just, if you would accept a friendly amendment to that, that includes specifically the videos that we've created.
Yes, to include the videos that have been created.
Perfect. Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Great. All those in favor? Oh,
Yeah, you're good, you're good.
Aye.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. The motion passes. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Dr. LaMarca. So now we move on to our closing items, which include item 3.01, which is a time for public comment. I just want to remind folks about the nature of public comment. We do have it written out here, but mostly just that those comments will be 3 minutes in length, and that time limit may be altered at the discretion of the meeting manager. And that we just want to make sure that we are doing content neutral restrictions on public comments, such as willfully disruptive comments that are irrelevant, repetitious, slanderous, offensive, obscene, inflammatory, irrational, amounting to personal attacks, intimidation, or interfering with the rights of other speakers. And Sylvia, before we begin, did we have any public comment online?
We did receive public comment online from Addie Goins and Suzanne Lewis.
Thank you, Sylvia. And I know commissioners have been emailed that, and I encourage you to please check that out. Do we have any public comment currently?
We do. We have 2 public comment today, one from Brian Sens and the other from Lisa Willett, but we'll have Brian Sens come up first.
Okay, great.
Do I have to press the button?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, right there, when you're ready.
All right. Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Brian. My daughters attend public school here in Washoe County. I just wanted to take a minute to speak to you today. My comments are related to their safety. I wanted to express my admiration and support for the school district and their handling of the mass walkouts that occurred on Friday. The courts have been very clear that public schools are not allowed to prevent students from leaving school grounds for the purpose of preventing free speech or suppressing political activities. The courts have also affirmed that the First Amendment rights do not begin at adulthood. Additionally, selective application of law isn't lawful, it's preference. I appreciate the difficult position that the school district and you individuals here have been placed in this last week. And I just wanted to thank you again for doing everything that you could reasonably do to ensure my daughter's safety, protecting their rights, and operating within the limits of the law. And that's it.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, Lisa Willett.
I am here for my granddaughter. And thank you, Brian, those were great comments. That's kind of what I'm here for. I received a very disturbing text message from my fiance's daughter. She has 5 children in the school district. This is not about the protest, right or not to protest, but it was because she attends Sky Ranch Middle School, and she left campus with, I guess, a large group of children, unbeknownst to the parents. The mother received a phone call from her daughter, who had walked 2 miles away from school over to, I guess, to Walmart. I'm not really sure of the location. The mother was at work, the father was at work. Obviously, they were very, very concerned. They called the school and asked what happened. They said, well, children were released. She asked to speak to the principal. The principal's response was, and he's not here to defend himself, and I wasn't part of the conversation, so it's hearsay, but the principal's response was, we are not responsible for the students once they leave campus. I have an objection to that. I do believe that once the children attend school, they are in the custody of the school, and until the children are released from school with consent from parents and authorization, or when school ends at a normal process, then they are no longer responsible for that student or those students. Now, 2 days later, an email went out to all of the parents, not regarding this issue, but another issue at an apartment complex. And the students, I guess the principal sent an email stating that there was a large group of students causing issues at, like I said, an apartment complex, and that, and it's almost quote unquote, those students from the time they arrive to school until the time school ends are the responsibility of the school, and they are not to be off campus. So it was a direct conflict to what was said to my fiance's daughter. I just want to bring it to the attention. I feel like Sky Ranch, I don't know about the other schools, I'm only speaking about Sky Ranch, that they should do better. I know that this was probably an isolated incident, I don't know, but I felt like I should say something to you, so bring it to your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. We appreciate you. Are there any other public comments, Sylvia?
No other public comment.
Okay. Well, with that, we will end this meeting of the Safe and Healthy Schools Commission at 3:07.
I have one, sorry. I had a quick question for legal. If we have a request for a future agenda item, I know in some meetings and commissions I'm on, it's listed as additional, but it's not on this.
We don't do that.
Okay, so none of the school committees do that. We work with the chair.
Works with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
All right. With that, we will adjourn the meeting at 3:07. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.